stand with someone who could not win in Anambra after you will say marginalization? Loretta Onochie. Loretta Onochie, media aide to President Muhammadu Buhari, has tackled the presidential candidate of the Labour Party and the former governor of Anambra State, Peter Obi, and his supporters, stating that politics is a game of numbers. Since the presidential candidate of the Labour Party LP, Peter Obi, declared his intention to run for presidency, he has been one of the most talked about individuals in the country. He has gained the massive, unwavering support of many youths who believe that the young people like him are needed to turn the country around. However, there are also some folks who, for different reasons, think negatively of the presidential candidate. Loretta Onochie, the media presidential aide, has taken to her official Twitter account that her government banned but now is using freely to claim that politics is a game of numbers and anyone who does not possess this should align with those who have the number. She also asked why people stand with a candidate who could not win in Anambra when he was impeached at the end of the day. Well, in her words, she says politics is about numbers and building bridges. Number, you don't have. Tact, zero. Diplomacy, it's threats and abuses. Politics, naivety, no common sense. Change, kwanu, mbanu, that's no way. 2023, grand failure. Again, so why stand with a candidate who cannot even win in Anambra? Then she also says, I have never seen a people who set out to plan to disenfranchise themselves. Politics is a game of number and inclusion. If you don't have the number, align with those who have the number. If you don't, you will continue crying marginalization. From 2023 to 2027, we must stop excluding ourselves. I mean, obviously she falls under the class of Joe Igbokwe. And I think what is very sad, obviously she didn't necessarily say Peter Obi, but then of course, saying you couldn't win in Anambra State, Anambra literally, given the intensity of conversations at this point, first we're thinking of is Peter Obi, and knowing that she is in the APC, it's like fine, opposition parties, we get that they're opposing one another, we understand. She falls in the category of people that Dr. Omar Johnson would call coons. Those ones that would betray their own people. Because again, I don't doubt. I mean, the government itself is corrupt, and I know there are a lot of Igbo people there. But one thing, they're probably very quiet, because it's a different thing to be so selfish to put your own people aside for whatever personal gain that you want, that you're willing to drag your people in the mud. Because again, this is not even a thing of you are just against Peter Obi. You are genuinely against your own people, and this is, I mean, there have been instances in the past. Again, this, if you compare the way she speaks, particularly from her people from her own area, and the way Joy Bukwe does, you will find similarities. Of course, you would. And again, look at her position. She's a media aide. I'm not trying to insinuate anything, but you're a media aide. You're not. Let's leave it as that. She's a media aide. And then you have Joy Bokwe, who is ministry for, what was it? For drainage and flooding. I call it plumbing, the official plumber of Lagos State. Don't get me wrong, okay? You may look at that title and be like, it doesn't really scream, power in terms of, realistically, I'm not saying it's an irrelevant role. I'm just saying, giving the Nigerian political space, when you want to assert yourself and your position, that's not really a title that you're going to use as much. But when it comes to the usefulness and relevance of that, title in Lagos State with, the rain and flooding, of course, it's very much important. But my point is, I'm saying is, her and Joy Bokwe are the ones that are used to speak against their own people so many times when it comes to IPOB or any Igbo movement. And then it's like, the puppeteers or the ones you're working for will always keep you at a certain level. Because you're not right. It's a different thing if you actually had a stake. Like, let's be honest. Let's be honest. Like, you're not a governor. Joker is not a governor. It's very sad. And I think as much as we want to talk about parties opposing one another, even Tinubu and Atiku, like, of course their strategies, they will not necessarily come out and be that direct. Like, let's say Tinubu said this, oh my days, well, everywhere will be on fire. I mean, obviously Tinubu has been saying a lot of things, but he has not directly fully addressed Peter Obi in that manner. And it's like they're using you to fight against your own people. So in a way they can justify and say, but you're one of them. So technically, if they're being accused of being biased or being accused of being discriminatory or being tribalistic, they'd be like, wait, what? What? An Igbo person is in presidency. What are you saying? I have friends that are Igbos. I mean, we appoint Igbos to be this and this and this and this. But when it comes to the positions that have stakes, are Igbos taking that position? Now that's where the real question lies. And so it's very sad when you see one of your own aligning with your oppressors. You are helping your oppressor oppress your own people and thinking that you are not part of the oppressed. That you think it's very sad. It's mind games. And I think it's very shameful. It's not surprising. I mean, it's not the first time she come to defend Ham Buhari. But at the core of the matter, that is literally where it stands. And then she says, after you will say marginalization, the topic of marginalization and how it's been pioneered through the Nigerian space has been by what? By the Igbos. Because what? They have been marginalized. So it's like you're directly talking against your own people. Let's look at the comments. First, Loretta and Joe should have been husband and wife. You see? These two always open their mouths without decorum. Imagine this lunatic of a woman. Why are you wasting your energy giving advice to deaf ears who have decided to waste their vote on their choice? We have decided to surgically take back our country from you and your fellow angels and give it to the devil we have confidence in, okay? It's in this woman, from additional Festus Keyamo. And I fully understand politics can turn people's brain upside down and become lunatics. Because again, she tries to use, politics is a game of numbers. Everyone has been saying that in line and argument for so long. This is irrelevant. It's the fact that you are literally speaking against your own people. That's where it is. Again, we're going to forget and, demystify and remove the clouds and really go deep into what the issue is. You are being used by your oppressor to oppress your own people under the guise that you are better than them or elevated or in a better position. At the end of the day, when you come to realize it, that you've been a coon and that you sold your people out, this is how it started. This is how it started. And I think, people like this, we should be very careful of, and we should, I mean, I'm not even giving advice to the Igbo people, but, these are the kind of people that are your own that you're like, wow, I mean, you don't hate them, but, these are ones you don't plan with. These are the ones that would create holes and create avenues for plans to be destroyed if you're trying to, forge a movement. It's very sad. But put what you think about it in the comment section below. And do not forget to like and subscribe.